everyone, today I am going to show y'all how to hack the Nita Trouser pattern to remove the front pleats. Front pleats are a great sort of vintagey detail that add a really fun retro sort of element to the front of the pants. However, they're not everybody's style, so it is very easy to hack the trousers to remove the pleats. You will want to either print a new front pant piece or simply trace it off so that you still have your original pattern piece to use if you like. So the first thing we're going to do on the innermost pleats, we are going to draw a line, and I am going to draw from the side seam leg of that pleat. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 lines of pleats here. From the second line from the left, I'm going to draw a line that goes all the way to the hem of the pants. Now you want to try to sort of follow the angle. The pleats are at a somewhat of an angle. You want to try to follow that angle. So I'm going to draw that line all the way down to the hem of the pants. I'm going to tape anywhere that I cross over a seam, a paper seam. And with my paper rotary cutter, I am now going to cut along that line all the way to, but not through, the bottom hem. Got some extra pieces back here. So I'm going to be pivoting along this bottom hem point. So I don't want to cut all the way through because that wants to stay connected. So now I'm going to shift that line to meet this other pleat line. So just a little, as if we were closing the pleat on the pattern itself. And we're just going to shift that in and tape here. And now we can go ahead and tape that whole line into place. So now we have gotten rid of our front pleat. The next thing I'm going to do is get rid of this side pleat. But I don't want to do the same technique because I don't want to alter the shape of the hem or the shape of the full leg too much. So for this one, I'm going to draw a curved line starting from the bottom of this pleat point. Actually, I'm going to draw in my seam allowance first. Starting from the bottom of this pleat point to somewhere along the side seam of the pant, below our notch here. You want to go roughly about 10-11 inches from the waistline. So I'm just going to sort of do this by hand. And this is going to be a slightly curved line here. It doesn't have to be pretty or perfect. There. So now I'm going to cut along this line, and I'm going to cut to this point here, and then we're going to cut from this edge of the side seam to this point as well. So the pivot point is going to be right here. You could do that for the hem, but with such a long slash line, it really does not affect much down at the bottom of the hem. Let me slide that down so you can see. So there's really very little overlap here. So I don't stress too much about going from the seam line, the seam line at the bottom. Also, we have all of this folding and stuff happening, so this isn't even really the seam allowance for the hem. So I just go all the way to the bottom for the hem. But here, we're going to go to the seam line so that we're making edits to the seam line, not to the seam allowance line. So now I am going to make my cut. To this point, and then I'm going to come in on this side and cut to that point. So, oops, I forgot to tape here. Okay, so now we can pivot along this seam line here. So I'm going to pivot this closed just till the pleat lines are closed and meet up there. And I'm going to tape this. And now you will see that I have a little bit of a discrepancy here. So I am just going to true that up where the waistband from the underneath pleat leg is a little sticking up a little more than this waistband that we shifted towards. So I'm just going to true that up. So that we have a nice straight waistband. And I'm going to tape this down. Now, as you can see, we opened up a little hole here, which you can fill with a piece of paper if you'd like. You can see that I print all of my patterns on recycled paper. Most of it is old bills. So we are going to tape this. So we filled up that little wedge that opened up there. And now you have some pleatless high-waisted pants to sew up. Now I would recommend, these pleats are not super deep, so there wasn't a lot of additional ease added by these pleats, but it will alter the fit of the pants a bit. So I would maybe recommend doing a quick muslin before you cut it out into any of your fancy fabrics, just in case you need to add a little bit more back into your hip line as well. So when you are stitching these, then you will just stitch everything else like normal, just ignoring the steps regarding the pleats. I would maybe give yourself a couple notches here so that you still have a guide as to where to put your belt loops for the front of the pant. And that is it. I hope you enjoyed this hack. I hope it's successful for you. If you make it, be sure to tag me and tag the Nita Trousers as well. Happy sewing. Bye.